I've been very concerned lately about China. They are now all over Africa, buying things and investing over there and getting those countries dependent on them and supporting, non-democratic people. And I'm just
Like
wondering,
whom?
well,
We are in a country that supports Saudi Arabia.
yes, that's
Yeah?
true. Right.
So suddenly we have a problem with, superpowers supporting non-democratic people.
Yes, I do. They're in Africa. They're lending money to countries to build ports and different infrastructure.
build what?
Port harbors.
And what's wrong with that?
And because
Countries that need ports get ports.
but they're making people dependent on. I know it's the same thing that we've done, which is
No, it's not.
horrible around the world.
They are far more humanistic than the United States ever was.
Really? Okay.
Absolutely.
Great. So
Let me give you an example. Of course, they are peddling for influence.
yeah.
Yeah? But they are non-interventionist. Absolutely non-interventionist in a way that Europeans, the West, has never managed to fathom. When it comes to the influence of China outside its borders, I have to say, firstly, it's quite remarkable that they don't seem to have any military ambitions. Secondly, Africa. I'll give you an example, a specific example. Ethiopia. 2004, because it happened to be there, and I have some first-hand experience of it. They went into Ethiopia. I'll tell you why they went into Ethiopia, because they suspected there was oil. Because China is a major industrial power, but it lacks primary resources. Now, instead of going into Africa with troops, colonially, destroying the country, killing people like the West has done for the last 100 years, what they did was they went to Addis Ababa and they said to the government, we would like, we can see you have problems with your infrastructure, we would like to build some new airports, upgrade your railway system, create a telephone system, and rebuild your roads. And we'll do this all for free. No strings attached. We don't want anything from you. And they did. Why did they do it? Because it's soft power. Because because they knew that if oil is discovered, and it was discovered later, then, of course, the Ethiopian government will be much more open to Chinese oil companies coming there. They have never combined their investment with imperialistic. Can you imagine if that was a German company or an American company? That's why I'm saying I don't think you should worry.
Okay. I won't.
Chinese has never imposed their culture or their values on Africa. China only come here for business. They come, sit down with you, tells you, this is what we think you lack. And this is what we can do to help. But in the return, you have to give us this. I don't think that is a bad idea. But some countries, some other countries, especially the Western countries, comes to Africa, set up military base, and at the end of the day, they find a way of creating conflicts upon conflicts, and we end up, our resources end up being stolen from Africa. We have seen a lot. We have seen some in Burkina Faso, we have seen some in Mali, we have seen some in Niger, we have seen some in DRC, we have seen some in Rwanda. Most of the times, this conflict that Africa faces has the root base, and most of the times the root base are outsiders. The root base of our conflicts are outsiders. So this lady trying to paint China like China is in Africa, taking advantage of Africa, and it's up to the Americans to come and save us. Or no, that era is gone. Now most Africans are benefiting a lot from China than how they benefited from the Western countries. Chinese has used massive strategy to work around African governments, and it has worked. It has worked perfectly well. Yeah, most of the countries will be in debt. Even though they are in debt, they have infrastructures to show off. If you are walking on the street of Accra, you can find huge infrastructures that were done by Chinese companies or the Chinese government. But you hardly see infrastructures which was done by maybe Germany, Italy, America, UK, or something. Within this short time, China has made a huge impact in Africa than how the Western country has made for years or centuries. So I'm happy the man really educated the woman for her to take her shame back to her seat. Because at the end of the day, that is what they have been feeding them, that Africans have been allowing themselves to be taking advantage of China. Yes, Chinese are taking advantage of the system, but at the end of the day, when they leave, they have built airports, they have built ports, they have built huge infrastructures, hospitals. They have built a lot of things that the African man can present to show the impact of China in Africa. But what are we going to show to indicate that the Western countries are doing this to help? They just be giving some aid. And most of the aids that the Western countries gives normally goes in the pocket of the politicians. It doesn't come to the people. It doesn't reflect in the country. But what do they do? Most of the times, they don't seek for accountability. When they comes again, they give them the aid for them to go and spoil it. Chinese are not doing that. Chinese are doing better trading. I give you infrastructure, you give me resources. And I think that is what is working for Africa now. And at the end of the day, I can say Africa have someone to lean on when it comes to loan and things. People will say, yeah, Chinese, that is a new way of slavery, and they are in the form of colonizing Africa through debt and loans and all that, but we don't care. At the end of the day, we are seeing infrastructures, we are seeing development across Africa, and that is the most important thing. We have seen what Ibrahim Traore, the current Burkina Faso leader, we have seen what he is trying to achieve with Russia and China. A lot of things are happening which is positive. It's about time we stop all this. China is coming, China is taking advantage, US is taking advantage. Let Africa choose whom you want to be friends with. You don't need to panic. If you come with the clean mind, an African government will be your friend. But if you come to take advantage of the people, that is what we are trying to avoid. We have been taking advantage for far too long, and it's about time we close our doors to people who don't mean well for Africa. Please, you should go to the description box. You'll see Telegram link. Click on it and join us on Telegram as we are going to discuss a lot about the well-being of Africa. You can also follow me on all social media platforms by searching me on I am De-Graft, on Instagram, on TikTok, on Facebook, on Twitter. You can see me live there. Don't also forget to subscribe to this channel and turn on the notification button, as we are going to bring you a lot of African content. Please, thanks for watching. Until we meet again, I say salute.